So another key milestone in the evolution of my own consciousness was to experience amazing amazing television show on Oprah's show that featured the book by Eckhart Tolle called A New Earth, Awakening Your Life's Purpose. And it was so important that she actually changed the whole world into a classroom. She turned the whole world into a classroom over Skype for a whole week long, where she had people come in over Skype. This is really a front running thing that really opened my eyes to the idea that somewhere down the line I'd be able to do something like this with in different ways with maybe newer technology. And it definitely inspired me. Another book that really inspired me was realizing that I needed to really develop some habits that would keep me going in a very positive direction, highly habits of highly effective people, powerful lessons for personal change by amazing Stephen Covey, who wrote this in 1989. And there were three major phases of growth that had to do with human development and mental development, and I think spiritual development is the movement from dependence to independence and then to interdependence. So the first step is to be proactive instead of reactive, and to begin with the end in mind. And the end in mind, which is really neat, it's facing death. Imagine yourself at your own funeral, looking down and then listening to what people say about you, what legacy you left behind. And so this is really, it's called the tombstone test by other people. And so that's a great step. The second step here, being proactive, is first of all, um, really considering an openness here, not and as opposed to being reactive, and of putting the yin in mind and putting first things first. What's most important to you? And then number four, of thinking win-win instead of somebody winning and losing, not like the Democrats and the Republicans, but of creating a win-win solution, a third way that resolves and synergizes this. And to first, in the process of doing it, to think first to understand where people are coming from and then be understood, and to synergize this, and then, eventually to sharpen the saw. You can't, with a dull, your mind is like a tool. If it's dull, you can't do very much with, but if you sharpen your mind, like sharpening a tool, you can get the job done. So you're sharpening the saw. And so one of the things that he talked about is, why do you do this? What's in it for you? Well, what's in it for me is my circle of concern, which at the time was really smaller, but I had all these issues on my mind that continually showed up in my life. Racism, the idea of had some health challenges. I've had to face the idea of having some money or no money, injustice as opposed to justice, being, exposed to my own ignorance and the ignorance of others, and developing wisdom and trying to progress instead of regress. And this whole troubling thing of peace instead of war, and the increasing climate catastrophes, and the threat of species life extinction. All of this as I'm trying to navigate my unretired life. So if you could develop habits over here, you can take your circle of concern and expand it to be a circle of influence. That's what I'm using YouTube for, because of its big reach and learning richness and its affordability, its power. So this is a really important book. So what he's talking about in terms of being reactive or proactive is, instead of just reacting to something, knee-jerk kind of stuff, and responding, that there's a whole area of freedom. You open a space in your mind and in your heart for self-awareness, imagination, conscious and independent will. This is what I'm really talking about, enlightened business development, that to really explore these different things. That's why these books I've really being given to me have been so important to me. Okay, great. So that was that segment. There's more to go. So enjoy yourself and check out the next segment because it's going to go even deeper. So here we go.